Welcome, y'all. Thank you for taking some time to drop by the lemonade stand where we sip, squeeze, savor the juice. Hey, we make it rain lemonade because there's one thing that life's guaranteed to give us. It's lemons. So I'm your host, Dr. Gina. The courageous coach is in, and that means any kind of hate is out. So if you're wondering what this spot is all about, let me introduce you to this. It's going to be like your virtual third space, here to create a sense of community in chaotic times, here to bring some light and some positivity to what seems like some dark days, and most importantly, to have people just sort of come together, vibe, feel a more positive energy, and talk about some things that are really topical, whatever might be on our mind for the day. So, a little bit about me. I'm a professional executive coach, educator, longtime leader, um, ride or die Dr. Mama is how you'll find me on social media. And I'm someone who's just really passionate about human beings and helping human beings be. Because I think we focus a whole lot of time and a whole lot of our energy and our on what we do, and we let that define who we are. And oftentimes I find, in my profession, as a supportive, caring profession, as a professional coach, a lot of people are just unhappy because they don't feel like they're achieving what they're supposed to, wherever that supposed to is coming from. That criticizing voice, let's call it the inner critic in coaching, that's in your head. It's like, the devil on your shoulder, it's that one. Or family, friends, coworkers, managers, just sometimes even just society at large. There's lots of ways that we are told we aren't enough, or that we don't do enough to even deserve happiness or fulfillment or joy. And I think a reason why I created the lemonade stand is so that we have this ritual space that can operate really globally. That's, global, local mix at a grassroots level, so that we can come together and just talk things through and feel like it's cool, you're cool, we're cool, just to be, not to do. Right? We're not called human doings, corny as it sounds, or human beings. But how much time and focus do we actually put on just being? So that's what we're going to do here. And how we're going to do that is, as I said, bringing up stuff that might be top of mind. It might be something that was in the news recently, or something that I've encountered with my clients, something that they're concerned about. And I think something that's been coming to mind a lot right now is being able to feel a sense of joy or happiness, or even to feel okay seeking that out to make, whether it's a vacation plan or do some serious self care. And by self care, I don't mean just, a spa day. Sure, that could be it. But I often remind my clients self care is holding boundaries. It's remembering to treat yourself as compassionately and kindly as you tend to treat others, and giving yourself that same space and generosity. That kind of stuff is all in what I consider self care. And when I use that term, that's what I'm thinking of. So I think that's probably a good place to start today, because so many people are struggling with doing so in tumultuous times, right? There's no getting around it. We're in turbulent times, whether you're talking about socially, economically, there's lots of struggle happening, and people are feeling that pinch. If they're not experiencing it in their own lives, and so many of us are, they are watching, maybe trying to support friends or family members going through it. Or like myself, like yourself, maybe empaths, and just feel a sense of connection to the collectivity of the global community, and that when painful, atrocious things are happening, even if it's not in your own backyard, you feel that. And because you're feeling that, it can be really difficult to refocus on what can actually make you happy. And as counterintuitive as it may seem, I think that's really important. Darker the days get, to redirect our focus on what truly makes us feel fulfilled. Where does genuine contentment come from? And I love that that's a question that we're asking more and more nowadays. And I think whatever intergenerational criticisms exist, that's something that a lot of the elder generations, I mean, from the boomers, the X's, the millennials, the Y's, are looking at the Gen Zs and the Alphas and recognizing they're not cool with, burning themselves out just to make other people happy. They're not okay with, grinding themselves to the bone for the capitalist machine. And I think that's really, really valuable for those of us in somewhat more seasoned generations to turn around and take a good look at. Because they are yearning for, and more so than yearning, I think our generations are yearning. They refuse to settle for anything less than some sense of fulfillment. Does that sense of fulfillment always come from something genuine and authentic? Not always, but I think more and more it can, and it does. And I think it's worthwhile to hold a space here to think and talk about stuff like that. So, what might be different in terms of other spots you may stop by in this virtual space and chat and learn from is that I'm totally open to the esoteric. What does that mean? Concretely, it means I might pull in astrology, and I will definitely always pull a tarot or an oracle card or something similar of that to kind of connect us spiritually and think about how that card can align with the topic that we're talking about. What kind of wisdom or perspective, or maybe even a reframing, can that card offer us on that topic? So, if we're thinking about today this topic of joy and fulfillment, finding that in troubled times and doing so in a way that's genuine and authentic and not maybe contingent upon buying that cool new blank, fill in the blank with product or cosmetic or piece of clothing branded, blah, 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 but rather on what we really are lit up by, what we're truly passionate about. That might be our creative pursuits. That might be a beloved pet. It might be a sport or a hobby that has long been left by the wayside as you have burned yourself out for said capitalist machine. Or maybe it's that you focused on others for so long, taking care of them, whether they're your children, your elders, your staff at work, and you want to take a moment, or perhaps you need to take a moment and recenter and reground yourself as a place of focus. So, since we're talking about it, let's try it out. Hey, why not, right? So I've got here a tarot deck, and I will list what this deck is in the comments. At the moment, it's something to the effect of a story time deck. You'll recognize it. It portrays a lot of different legends. But I'm going to use this, and I'll shift different decks so we don't get bored of them from week to week. However, I think this is a really nice one to start with. So we do a shuffle here so I haven't pre-chosen a card. I just want to see what comes out when we're thinking about this topic today of fulfillment, of seeking authentic joy, of doing self-care in a way that feels truly meaningful and sustaining for us. Nice one it is. So what we've pulled here is the Four of Wands. So in tarot, I'll give you kind of a very general overview. The wands as a suit is all about our passions, our creative energies. So therefore it can be about our work, can be about our hobbies. It's a really apropos suit to have pulled, actually, given what we're talking about today. Really aligns with the topic well. That's what I wanted you to see shuffle. So the Four of Wands, about stability. It's about creating grounded and, set in a strong foundation type of future. So when I think about this in relationship to what we were just talking about, I immediately link it to that aspect of self-care and of joy. What are you doing to build yourself a firm foundation? Like, think of a table, think of a chair. Think of all the things that have four legs, right? That's how I want you to think about the Four of Wands, as the four stabilizing, grounding legs to you in your existence right now. What is it that helps provide that for you? What is it that, as you can see here, they also call it the happy home, happy family card. So it's not just about, work and creative pursuits and passions. It's also about people, because this is a couple that is joining in matrimony. The idea that, and that's usually depicted on the Four of Wands, some version of a joining and a solidification of a commitment for greater stability and security in the future. So what is it in your life that can help provide that for you? And it's not just material, because, that's a different suit. The pentacles are all about materials. But when it's the Four of Wands, it's a stability that's also built and grounded in and aligned with what you love, like what truly excites you, what lights your fire. It aligns with the fire signs of the zodiac if you're into horoscopes and astrology. Right? So, what gives you stability and passion at the same time? And that's sort of why it's often depicting that wedding union, right? Because if you think about if you aren't married, how you feel on a wedding day, that's incredibly powerful. And so, what is it that you can offer yourself right now so that you feel that sense of perhaps it's a joining of your higher self, and your conscious mind? Perhaps it's a joining of your future self and your current self, or even just different dimensions of you. Maybe you've been walking around really honoring certain parts of your life or facets of your personality, aspects of your being, maybe to the neglect of others, and breathing some fire, some life into those would give you a greater sense of stability in your identity and your authenticity of who you truly are. And I think that is foundational to joy and fulfillment and happiness. So that's an example of what we'll do each day, that we meet here in and at the lemonade stand. So it's all about dropping by, talking about something topical, and pulling a card to help us frame that conversation and move forward. So I want to thank you for taking the time to drop in today. I hope to see you next time. And in the meantime, I'll leave you with a nice moment of grounding. This is the very simplest form of breath control that I know. And I'll say right off the bat, I am in no way a professional at this. Meditation is still something I'm working on. And to be honest, I meditate much better when I'm in a state of movement. I'm sure I'll discuss that in a future episode. However, take a moment with me right now to ground yourself with some box breathing. So box breathing is simply a 4-4-4-4 pattern. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold our breath for 4 seconds, then exhale for 4, and then release for 4 seconds. So just literally picture yourself drawing a box as you do that. So let's do that together. In for 4. Did you get that pattern? So we breathe in for 4, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Okay, so each time you try that, it'll become a little easier and hopefully more and more instinctive, so that throughout the day, if you find yourself just needing a moment to literally catch your breath or clear your mind or go into Hulk mode and rage at someone or something, it's an awesome opportunity to give yourself. I do it in the washroom. Like the office bathroom is a great place to do something like this. In your car, just take that moment. So let's do it together one more time. I'll count it down. In. And we can repeat that. So try that. If it's something you haven't tried before, or maybe it's something you have and just haven't tried in a while, I invite you to pick that up once again. So until next time, thanks again for dropping in. We squeeze the lemons, we sip the juice, we savor the sweetness together. Till next time in the lemonade stand, this is Dr. Gina signing off. Take good care.